Okay, are you all back again, students? All back from your coffee break, huh? Okay, let's get started again on the subdivision 2 of the Act 262 on the Juro auditors. Okay, now 262 talks about definition of outgoing auditor. So outgoing auditor means auditors whose term of office has expired or is about to expire. This is called outgoing auditor. Section 263, companies auditors to be approved by the minister charged with the responsibilities of finance. That means the finance minister. So any chartered accountant may apply to the finance minister to become a company auditor. So not every accountant is an auditor. This chartered accountant must apply to the finance minister to become a company auditor. The minister may approve the applicant who is deemed competent and pay the prescribed fee. The approval period is for 2 years, so every 2 years must renew, unless sooner revoked by the minister. So some auditors have the license cancelled by the minister if they are involved in the wrongdoings, they can be done so, or if they become bankrupt, they cannot hold an auditor's license. Or if they are convicted and sent to jail, also cannot become an auditor. The minister may authorize someone to be in charge of the registration or control of accountants in Malaysia. If not satisfied with the decisions of the minister, the chartered accountant may appeal to the court. So normal process is that this person who wants to become an auditor and is a chartered accountant, he will work 2 years with an accounting firm, public accounting firm. Then he would apply to the finance Ministry of Finance for a license. Then normally an interview will be held by a panel of a few people coming from CCM, Bank Negara, Securities Commission, and so on. And this panel will then interview the candidate, and if he's passed the interview, then he'll be granted a license. And if this person wants to audit a public listed company, he has to apply to the Audit Oversight Board to get another license that enables him to audit public companies, public listed companies. 264, companies auditors. Again, any auditor cannot knowingly appointed as an auditor of a company, knowingly act as an auditor of a company if is not qualified, and knowingly prepare the audit report even if it's not an approved company auditor. So if he's owed the company more than 25,000 ringgit, he also cannot audit. He have a relationship to the company in terms of spouse, partner, employee, or shareholder, also cannot audit. Responsible or having relations with person in charge to keep the register of members of the venture holding company, cannot audit also. If he's an undischarged bankrupt within or outside Malaysia, or outside Malaysia also cannot. So if you're bankrupt in Singapore, you cannot audit in Malaysia. Okay? Cannot become an auditor if you are convicted with an offense involving fraud or punishable with imprisonment for 3 months or more. Now, any firm of auditors shall not knowingly consent to be appointed or act as auditor for any corporation, company, and shall not prepare the audit report on behalf of a company unless all the partners of the firm are also approved company auditors, and no partner of the firm disqualified from acting as company's auditors. So it's quite strict. An audit or audit firm who contravene this section on conviction is liable to a fine not exceeding 100,000 ringgit. Now, sometimes you can be an auditor to be with a firm of auditors, usually called LLP, limited partnership. Now, if a new audit firm should notify the registrar of company within 30 days from commencement of business, the name of the firm, not firm, the firm number, that means the company, the partnership number, the address, commencement date, the name, address, and approval number, and other detailed particulars of all partners, and F, such other particulars as required by the registrar of companies. If there are charges on the company or the partners, the firm should notify the registrar on the details and date of the, if there are changes, not charges. If there are changes on partners, the firm should notify the registrar on the details and date of the alteration within 30 days. A report or notice that purports to be made or given by a firm appointed as an auditor of a company shall not be taken to be duly made or given, unless it is signed by the name of the firm and in its own name by a partner of the firm who is also an approved auditor, and B, the firm number and approval number of the partner is legibly clearly written or printed either under or beside the signature of the firm and the partner respectively. So for the purpose of this section, a proof number in relation to an auditor is the number allocated to that person on the approval granted by the minister, charged with the responsibility for finance, and B, firm number in relation of a firm of auditors is a number allocated by the registrar to a firm of auditors in the notification under subsection 1 and C and so on, including for this act. 266. What is the power of the auditors? Actually, an auditor very powerful. If you don't, if the auditor come and ask for certain things, you don't give. Strictly speaking, you can be charged in court, and if convicted, there is a jail sentence for that. So remember, you cannot actually deprive the auditors of information because it's an offense under the Companies Act. So every company auditor shall report the financial statements to the members. The private company is circulated to members or laid before the company during the members' meeting. For public companies, consolidated financial statements shall be laid before the company at the Mesyuarat Agung Tahunan or the annual general meeting. Number 2, an auditor shall state on the financial statement drawn up whether it gives a true and fair view in accordance to accounting standards, and in his own opinion, the financial statement, if it's an opinion, the financial statements are not drawn up in accordance to accounting standards, he needs to state whether if it's not in true and fair view, he have to state there's not and he also need to tell the reasons why he hold the opinion and his opinions concerning the particulars of the qualified accounts. So once the auditor qualified the accounts, it's a very serious matter, and if it's a listed company, it can be suspended, straight away. Okay, for consolidated financial statement, the names of subsidiary which he has not acted as auditor, but he also this auditor will need to audit the other auditor to make sure that he's satisfied with their work. D, any effect or irregularity in the financial statements, and E, reasons for not satisfied to any matters referring to in A, B, and C. Number 3, forming opinion on whether all information and explanation are obtained. If he has not got obtained, he has to say why, when, and where. Whether proper accounting records are kept, whether returns received from branches office are adequate, and whether procedures and methods in arriving at the amount taken in the consolidated accounts are appropriate. He should also state if there is any deficiency or shortcoming. Okay. Number 4, For the purpose of the audit, the company auditor has a right to request for accounting and related records from any company officer at all times. If any of the company officer refuses and breach this section, this officer can be charged in the court, and if convicted, can be fined and jailed. An auditor of a holding company at the expenses of the holding company has the right to access the accounting records of any subsidiary from any officer of the subsidiary company at reasonable time. So if I'm company X and this company X have a subsidiary in Madagascar or Africa, the auditor of the holding company in Malaysia is entitled to fly to Madagascar at the expense of the company, of the holding company, to access the records and other records of the subsidiary, and to also assess the work of the auditor, of the subsidiary's auditor. Of course, at reasonable time, cannot be unreasonable, but he has a right. The auditor's report should be attached to the financial statements, and if required by any member, to be read before the meeting, in general meeting, and should be open to inspection by any member at any reasonable time. Number 7, the company's auditor or authorized representative is entitled to attend any general meeting of the company which concern his capacity as an auditor. He can walk into the meeting of the AGM. If auditor found breaches in this act and his opinion the matter will not be adequately dealt with, he shall report the matter to the registrar in writing. Number 9, if the company and the public company is of the opinion that a serious offence involving fraud or dishonesty has been committed, he shall report the matter to the registrar in writing. The auditor who made a report to the registrar cannot be regarded as contravening his duty. He cannot be sued for defamation by the auditing company, by the company he audited, if he does it under the Act. For the purpose of subsection 9, a company is presumed to be controlled by a public company if the public company exercise not less than 20% of the votes attached to the voting rights of the company, and a serious offence means that is punishable by imprisonment for a term not less than 2 years, and the value of assets derived from the loss suffered exceeds 250,000 ringgit. Number 12, an officer or an auditor of a corporation will fail without lawful excuse to give access to account records or information, or give information or explanation, obstruct or delay an auditor to perform his duties is an offence. On conviction, liable to a jail term of 3 years, 3 tahun, and a fine not exceeding 500,000 ringgit or both. So you can see how serious it is if you go and sabotage or auditor's work and refuse to give information. You can be charged in court and be on conviction, be jailed. Yeah. Now, an auditor who contravenes subsection 8, 9, and 8 and 9 above, okay, that means you don't report things that you have found to the registrar. You deem whistleblower, in other words, auditor deemed visible, you can be charged in court and liable to imprisonment of 5 tahun, 5 years, that's quite a lot. And the fine is pretty thorough, 3 million ringgit, 3 million ringgit or both. So the auditor is under a lot of pressure, to report and whistleblow to the authorities if he finds something not right. Okay. So number 9, if an auditor of a public company, subsection 9 here, this one that I've just pointed out in the arrow, this one here, okay, of a public company, so you have to report, okay. So 5 year jail is pretty heavy, plus a 3 million fine, also pretty heavy, if you ask me, okay. So jangan play on this, There's an auditor, auditors now all freak out, by this section. They have to do a proper job and make sure they open their eyes wide, because if they miss this out, there can be a lot of trouble. All right. Under 1MDB case, I think the auditors have negotiated our cost settlement, so they pay a few hundred million to the kerajaan to close the case lah, because they have probably infringed on 9 and 11 in the 1MDB case. Okay, there are two types of companies: audit of private companies and audit of public companies. So let's look at private companies first. So for private companies, is the usual thing, like you have to go for EGM and appoint the auditor. So it is an offense if a company fail to appoint a director, and the company and every director is liable to a punishment. Now, if the company don't appoint an auditor under 268, the registrar of company has the power to appoint an auditor. And also any members of the shareholder can also have the power to appoint the auditor. What's the term of office of a private company auditor? So the auditor of a private company shall hold the position according to the appointment terms and ceases from the position 30 days from the circulation of financial statement unless he is reappointed. Okay. Prevention by members of deemed reappointment of auditors. So an auditor is deemed not to be reappointed if the company receives a notice from members representing at least 5% of the entitled vote to stop this from happening lah. Okay, chapter 2 refer to provisions relating to auditor of public companies. Public companies, okay, you can see public company here. This one was auditor of a private company. So for a public company, the auditor will be appointed at the AGM and he will hold position until the next AGM. If the company fails to appoint an auditor, the registrar of company have the power to appoint the auditor. And any other shareholder have a right to also appoint the auditor, who will be voted on upon at the AGM lah. But if a registrar appoint, then I think you boleh jalan already, he become the auditor. No need to go for the AGM. Term of office of a public company auditor is from one AGM to the next AGM, unless he's removed by the shareholders. Fixing remuneration, 274. Remuneration of auditor is based on appointment by which party? By members of the company, by members of the company, by the board, and by the registrar. Okay, so the remuneration is the sum paid in respect of expenses and payment otherwise than cash. 275, obligation to furnish particular payment made to auditors. So if somebody asks for particulars from shareholder that holds at least 5%, they must provide the information. Resolution to remove auditors. So AGM can be convened, and the general meeting can vote on whether to terminate him or not. Special notice, you need 21 days normally. Okay, if you want to remove auditor, then a notice must be given to the registrar of companies. Procedure to appoint auditor by written resolution can be done. 280, procedure to appoint new auditors. Auditors are meeting of the members or shareholders. Okay. 281, resignation of auditor. Auditor can resign. Okay, auditor can resign by giving written notice that take effect 21 days of which the notice has been given. rights of a resigning auditor at public company. So the auditor have the right to speak at the AGM. 284, duty to inform upon cessation of office. So if he resigns, he is supposed to notify the Registrar of Companies. Any questions so far? Any questions? Auditors are required to attend the AGM. 286. Auditors are to enjoy qualified privilege in certain circumstances. Duties of auditors to trustees of debenture holder. The auditor need to send him a copy of the financial statements, yeah, by post within 7 days after finishing the statement of report at the meeting. You need to furnish a report to the trustee of debenture holders. Okay, indemnity and insurance. Any provisions made to them must be disclosed. So this is referring to insurance for officers and directors lah. In terms of, in respect of civil liabilities, if they get sued for negligence. Okay. However, for criminal activities, this insurance does not cover. It must be for civil liability. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions? Any questions, please, so far on the auditors? So for this quiz, are you able to sort of wind it up by the week? It's not very difficult. Refer to your PDF copy of the Act itself. Please don't do it exactly the same as what my presentation is here, right? You should have your own style. Should be slightly different. It should be different in some ways in your presentation, not exactly the same. Huh? Any more questions?
Hello, sir. I'm Viru here.
Yes, yes.
I would like to ask, quiz. How do we upload in UMSurf? Because I can't see if there's any way that we can upload the quiz once we have done it.
Oh, yes, sorry. I beg your pardon. Once you finish it, you send it to, I will put in a WhatsApp, send it to my, this particular email address, because you upload, sometimes we get jammed up there. I'll just give you the address right now. You
Okay.
forward, I'm doing it now. And your answers should be in soft copy, Microsoft Words. Don't PDF it.
When is the date due? The deadline, sir?
Okay, I just WhatsApp you on the WhatsApp group. The Gmail address is auditingclass@gmail.com. So you forward that. You try to has something substantial done by this week. I think next week we will discuss the bottom part. There's still about the type of auditors and how to audit fixed asset, right? Which I think we will continue next week. I think you had a long day already. We will wind up shortly. But if you're onto it, please proceed to input and finish it at 6 o'clock if you can, before you knock off on your assignment. You try to do something substantial by this week, and then the next week we will discuss and do the one on the types of auditors and how to audit fixed assets. Then maybe the week after next, you can send it in, your answers. Is that fine?
That's fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Who is this? Is it Virun? Is it? Is it Virunta?
Yeah,
Was it
Biru.
me? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
Virunta. Yeah.
thank you so
Okay.
much, sir.
Got it. So, like I say, maybe you want to stay on for a while after I've signed off to finish off, just key in the answers and build up the base for your answers. Yeah. And then the next week we will discuss the two parts. Then after that you can beautify it and tidy it up and then finish off one. Then we can start off with the next one, which is the assignment. The assignment is quite a big one. It's talking about the various type of scandals, accounting scandals. If you look at the thing that I posted, it require you to have some knowledge about Enron. We have done some already, so you should know quite well. WorldCom, Transmile. We're talking about this guy called Bernie Madoff, a Ponzi scheme. Very big scandals. These are very big scandals, hundreds of billions ringgit involved. We will discuss all these cases for your next second assignment. So for this week, just finish off the Akta Syarikat, those sections, summarize it on the financial statements and the auditing, the auditors, yeah. Try to input all the thing in soft copy. Then next week we will finish on two parts, and next week we will watch another documentary. So all this documentary that you watch, I hope will give you a much more better insight and understanding of those wrongdoings and scandals lah. So every country has got these things happening, big things happening. Malaysia, as you know, we have our own 1MDB, which is quite a big scandal, accounting scandal. And recently we have also a few cases from Auditor General who highlighted a few irregularities happening in the government departments and so on lah. So irregularities and fraud is not something new. It's been happening all this time. So I just want to make you aware that it's an ongoing process lah. And the battle to overcome it is continuous. It's always a chicken and mouse game lah. Okay. Any other further questions? Further questions? If not, should we wind up for the day? No further questions?
Mr. Ken, can you share the video for the last week?
Oh, you mean it wasn't recorded properly, is it? Okay. Last week it was recorded, the video for last week. If you
go to the team, is it?
Yeah, go to the TVs. Last week was recorded. Is this the one called the Enron, the smartest guy in the block? The one?
Okay. All right.
Who is this? Sarah, is it? You asked
Sarah,
her?
yeah.
Sarah, yeah. Go and look up there. If you cannot get it, you just WhatsApp me lah.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Ken.
Last week was about the biggest guy, smartest guy in the room. There was all purely Enron about those different characters and people involved. So it's actually quite sad, all these people who were cheated, Anyhow, Mr. Kenley died, heart attack. So he did have to face the music. Whereas the other three guys went to jail for quite a long time. But many people lost their life savings, yeah? Lost their money, life savings, the workers, employees. So quite a sad story, yeah? Okay, so if there's no further questions, we will wind up for the day. And those who want to, you can stay put and finish off keying in those blanks into your template for your answer. And then next week we will finish off the other two parts, and we will be watching a few more of those documentaries that concern your assignments, so you get a better feel of it. Okay.
Sir, you can
Yes.
sound off.
Sign off, huh? Okay. Oh, sound off. Sorry, I didn't get it. What did you say just now?
Okay.
Yes,
Okay already.
you can hear? Oh, you mean the sound was off just now? Cannot hear. Can you hear me better now? Testing, one,
Yes.
two. Okay, maybe
Yes.
there's audio. Okay, good. So next week we will continue with the bottom part, the two parts, on the types of auditors for the assignment or for the quiz, and also how to audit fixed assets. Yeah. Okay. Shall we sign off now? So I will see you. I'll see you next week. Okay. So have
Yeah, thank
a
you, Mr. Ken.
have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Oh.